And by the way, what you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. You go to Florida, you find a very different attitude about immigration in certain places than you do when you're in Arizona. So it's a very different, a very diverse community.
Hello, family. Welcome back to another episode of Journey to Harmony. I'm your host, Richard Harmon. Today, I want to come to you and talk to you about the Biden administration response to the border issue. We know that over the last 3 years, the number of crossings have reached all-time record highs in terms of people usurping the U.S. Ability to control its border. And more or less that Texas has been getting overrun. Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, and places of that nature have been getting absolutely inundated with people coming from different nations, many coming from all over the world. I think 170 countries in total have been seen in the country since the border has been open. As a result of it, that the Texas governor, Greg Abbott, has been shipping people around the country to different sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities are spaces that people desire, that they say that they're open to having people come to the area, and he's just been sending them out as a result of that. Since over the last few weeks, the mayor of Chicago, the mayor of New York City, and other areas have begun putting in basically border walls, telling the governor of Texas that they can only send people to their city or to their state between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 12 p.m. So you basically have a 3-hour window of when people can arrive, and they have to have a 32-hour notice. They have to have all of these different rules and implementations involved. So what has happened is over those 3 years, we have not heard anything from the Biden administration. They have been quiet, but the murmurs around the country are growing, and people are recognizing more and more that you can't just have an open border. At the same time, the Biden administration is advocating for $60 billion to be sent to Ukraine. So I'm going to play a video here just about the Department of Homeland Security chief. And his response, again, he's going to be a spokesperson for the Biden administration. And he's going to say what is it that he thinks that is going on and what that should be done.
So, Mr. Secretary, certainly a given that something needs to be done at the border. But in the interim, before something goes into effect, we're hearing from many big city mayors, governors, lots of them Democrats, asking Washington to do more. Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, repeatedly has said that in recent days. So what more is Washington going to do, if anything, to answer their calls for help?
So we have taken action on the border, and we've taken action with respect to the challenges that cities across the country are facing. Let me identify one fundamental problem here, and that is the fact that we have one governor in the state of Texas who is refusing to cooperate with other governors and other local officials and coordinate efforts to address a challenge that our country, which this country should stand united to address, that our country is facing. And it's a remarkable failure of governance to refuse to cooperate with one's fellow local and state officials. But we have dispatched teams to Chicago, Denver, New York, to name just three, to assist them in managing the challenge, to assist them in ensuring that people who are eligible for work receive their work authorization as swiftly as possible, and we're continuing to collaborate with them. We've also successfully sought some funding from Congress to assist the cities, and in our supplemental budget request, we've requested additional funding for that purpose, and we do hope that Congress passes that critically needed funding measure.
All right, perfect. So you heard that there. So this is, again, a word salad that is just outrageous. So the whole idea, once again, is that it's no one else's fault except for the governor of Texas. So, they in their later statement, he says that, Mexico is doing a wonderful job and everyone is okay and things are great. They speak a bit and a lot about the funding of the supplemental bill. The supplemental bill is a $107 billion spending bill, with $60 billion going to Ukraine, about $20 billion going to Israel, and then $14 billion going to the U.S. border. They're saying that they need to protect their interests and need to protect their border, so they're sending these particular dollars out, which makes zero sense. Your U.S. border is getting overrun right here, and instead of them focusing on the border right here, they're trying to send almost hundreds of billions of dollars far away, more or less, because someone else is getting paid. So this is an interesting take right now. We see right now that the issue is growing at a rapid rate. My thought overall is that the situation that we're seeing will be 3 to 5 times worse come the springtime. So what happened is the initial people who have come to the border and who have come and crossed over are now being shown to those who are in route. So if you're in parts of Africa, if you're in India, if you're in China, you're watching your fellow people who are coming, and they are in different places in New York, and they're freezing. They're not having places to stay. It would be wise for you as a person who is trekking to make sure that you stay where you are for a time period, and then make your way here once the springtime comes, when the weather's a little bit better. You don't have to worry so much about the seasonality of things. And this is what I think is going on. So my thought is that, again, once the weather clears up in the spring, once the weather clears up, in April and May, I think that we can see 3 to 5 times on what it is that we're currently seeing. So this is going to be a serious issue. This is a presidential election year, and the threat of Donald Trump is scaring a lot of people. And eventually what's going to happen is that those who are outside of the country will eventually begin to push even harder to get here as a result, because they see that there is an issue, and there could be a problem with them getting in. What are your thoughts on this? Please comment below, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining. Have a good day.